Hello, I'm Tori from the Quilt Patch by Tori. I'm a teacher and pattern designer, and today we're going to be doing a coffee chat with Susanne McPhee, and she's all the way in Australia, and we're going to be finding out more about her, who is the quilter behind her quilts and quilt patterns. So let's go ahead and bring on Susanne.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you and be here.
Nice to meet you too. I'm struggling with the view.
Okay.
There we go. I'm struggling today. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. And you?
I'm great. Thank you.
That's good.
So our first question, like we talked about before we started, I'm just going to go ahead and go down my list of questions, and you can answer as much as you like.
Awesome. Will do.
So this is a coffee chat. So do you like coffee or tea?
Coffee all the way through. I already got one.
Nice.
First thing in the morning. Usually I don't function without it. Yeah. Even though I probably shouldn't drink so much, but I don't know. I just need it.
Same. And it's always fun to talk to somebody across the globe because it's evening here, but it's morning there.
True. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's actually the second one today. So
nice. I moved to water. It's late enough to where I can't drink.
Yeah, fair enough. Otherwise you can't sleep, so that's no good. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So where are you from, Susanne?
So, well, I'm German. I was born there. I lived there for half my life. And in 2012, I actually moved over here with my now husband. And yeah, so since 2012, end of 2012, we're living in Queensland, Australia, and it's usually nice and sunny, no snow, no ice, so that's lovely because I always hated the winter time. That was the worst part, I guess, living in Germany, but yeah.
Now, Queensland where is that located in Australia?
It's like northeast. So like if you see the whole map, then it would be like in this spot roughly, yeah, in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always curious because I know it's a very big country.
It is, yeah. It's like even sometimes when friends visit us, like then they say, oh yeah, and then we just drive there. It's like, you do know it's a 10-hour drive or even more, right? And you only have like a few weeks. So maybe you want to catch a plane, you know, just to make it easier and you can actually see something of the countryside, you know. So yeah, they don't realize that you can fit whole Europe into the country and you still have space around you. So yeah.
So what's your favorite part about living in Australia?
What I like about it? I think mainly the weather, that there is no snow, no ice. I really love that part. People seem to be friendly and relaxed, like they work hard as well, but they rather have the attitude to just live first and then work a bit, even though they still really work hard, but it's still that little bit, no, family and life comes first. So they do enjoy it basically when they can make the time for it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So do you have a favorite childhood memory?
There's a few. So like I know that I always went with my cousin onto the fields because we lived a bit in a small village, a bit on the outside skirts, I guess, of that small village where like the forest would start. So we always would go like to the fields and pick flowers. And then I remember like when we went to my grandma, then we always had like the board games that we played. And sometimes it was just things, and then it was like one thing we hopped onto a thing on like a field and it said you have to crawl like a worm, and my grandma was like, I can't do this, you know, I'm too old for that. And I remember I was like, oh, that's fine, Granny, I do it for you. So I was like wiggling around on the floor like a worm. It was just, yeah, lots of laughter and fun. So yeah, and in general just meeting with friends and family, and yeah, it was always good.
That's a beautiful memory. Thank you for sharing that. And we'll get there. I don't want to jump ahead real quick. So do you have any hobbies outside of quilting?
I do. Like I love to read, but also love to like work with mindset, like to just like explore mindset, positive thinking, and even try different things like on myself to always improve myself. And when it comes to reading, it's like fantasy books. So actually my husband introduced me to them, and there was like one that was from Patrick Rothfuss, I think his name is, yeah. And the book was Name of the Wind. And I remember I was reading it, and it was like a part where he describes where that main character was like in a bar, and he was playing an instrument or so. And for some reason, I felt like I was sitting in that bar, like being part of that whole scene, you know, that he described. It was unreal. Like, if you find a book like that that pulls you in, that you're feeling like you're part of it, it's just, wow. It's just amazing.
Okay. I really love the way you described being in a book like that, because that's always a goal for me when I read. I haven't been able to read for pleasure in a while, but I'm hoping soon we will be, now that my kid is in school, daycare / preschool. But yeah. Are there any books that you're reading right now that you really enjoy? Or was that
At the moment, it's actually a mindset book, but I forgot the title of it. Like, it's about how you connect creativity with like a positive mindset. And that's what I truly love. It's just like, and it's what I want to create with my classes as well, to combine that in a way. I don't know how yet, but somehow I don't know. It will come together eventually. So, yeah.
That sounds so interesting. I would really like to hear more about that when you get it more developed.
Yeah, I will. Like, I'm still like, I have this idea. I want to do this. I want to combine mindset, positive mindset, and the quilting, the creativity. When someone asks me how, I have like no clue. But I know, like, once you keep going, I don't know, sometimes things just fall into place magically. So,
no, I mean, that's kind of what happened with my the workshop I've been developing for design and quilting. Like, it's been growing and growing and filling out, and I'm figuring out more and more of what I want to put it there, how I want to schedule it, and like, it comes together.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay, so our next question is, how did you get into quilting?
Well, actually, the first quilted, I never was a quilting fan, I have to admit. I always thought it's something for grandmas, you know, like, I've never really seen it in my life. And then my sister-in-law in Germany, she had like a beautiful pillowcase. It was the quilting techniques, but put into a pillowcase with like hearts. Like, the main feature was hearts, and then like little like 3D hearts kind of sewn onto it, and it always looked beautiful. I thought, wow, that's cool. Okay. But then I put it away, and I was like, yeah, whatever, you know, I don't know. And then when we actually moved here, my mother-in-law, she showed me some, because she's a quilter by heart. She loves quilting, has done it for years. And then when she showed me some photos, I saw like the modern version of it, and how you can have one pattern and you use different colors, different fabrics, and it looks completely different. And it blew my mind. It was like, how on earth? It's the same pattern, but it looks like a completely different project. So that was just like, wow. And then I saw these vibrant colors, and I thought, I should give this a go. I really like it. So, yeah. And that's how I started. She taught me like the basics, basically, and got me into this. And, yeah, from there, I'm now like just learning more and grabbing everything that I can and improve and just have fun, basically.
That's wonderful. I know that being quilters, I think that being able to play with color is one of the main draws of quilting.
Yeah, I think so.
You get to choose the colors that you like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's amazing when it's just, how it can be so different, you know, like the one person just sticks to the black and white, or the other person just gets all the colors out, you know, of the rainbow. And it's just amazing what comes out in the end. So, yeah, that's really wonderful.
So our next question is, can you tell me about your first quilt?
So it's actually like, it wasn't like a quilt per se. It was like the placemats and the table runner. And I found that pattern, which I really loved. It had like the rainbow colors in it with a black background, but it had lots of triangles in it as well. My mother-in-law straight up said, are you sure you want to do that? You know, you can get, there's an easier one you can do. It's like, no, I can do this. And I ventured through it and I finished it, but it was wonky. Like, it was a bit wonky, and it just, I don't know, like I wasn't like super happy with it that I would display it everywhere. I think I have it in a box still somewhere, but it's, Well, we have no clue what we do. Now I know there's tricks to it, like with the pressing, you know, and with the cutting and how you actually do things. It's like, well, I probably should have known that first, but I guess we all go through that stage.
Just dive in head first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they sound beautiful. Rainbow on a black background.
Yeah, it did, and it looked beautiful. I do have the pattern in my creative hub that I have on my website. Just if someone is an intermediate sewer, like I put in for intermediates who already know what they're doing, it's on there, just linking to the website where I bought it from. But I already said in the thing as well, I used the lady's picture and not mine, because I did it when I just started out, and it just, yeah, was not ideal. So that's why I recommend on that. Just when you know what you're doing, your intermediate, jump in that. It's a great project, but yeah, not for beginners.
And just throwing out there, quilted placemats totally count as a first quilt.
Yeah, they do. Okay, good.
I'm totally counting it. I don't know if anybody else does. I'm totally counting it.
Okay, good. Because they're small, you know, like so you don't have to worry about the big quilt. So you're just, you know, doing this small little project. So
It's true, but it's, you know, the same steps, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's true. I see it too.
Okay, so what is your favorite style of quilts or quilting techniques?
I don't have like a favorite style at this stage or technique, but I like it just simple. Simple and easy, that's like what I love. So just maybe try different blocks, different techniques, not too many small things. If you have lots of small triangles or squares or whatever, that's just like, it's too fiddly for me, so I don't like that. So rather be bigger pieces and get it simply and quickly done, and colourful, like really bright and vibrant colours. I've noticed my old quilts, they were always rather dark and like, I don't know, dull. And then I'm switching now to other like more vibrant colours, and it's just, yeah, I love that. Just gives a bit of a rainbow, sunny feeling in your home, you know. Yeah, that's always good.
Okay. So do you have a favorite quilt?
Favorite quilt? The one that I made for my mom and my mother-in-law for Mother's Day, actually. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. I think it was last year. And it was basically the center was similar to this one. Yeah, and then I just had borders around it, and I made it a bit wider, so the center was a bit wider, and just the pictures on it as well, like in that same style, with just like photos from us and from our daughter, so they just have like a memory, you know, and then from them on it, and yeah, and then like a nice border around it, and really bright and colorful as well, and yeah, that came out really nice. I love that one. Yeah,
That's good. You combine like color and memories.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you know, I do think that as quilt makers, a lot of people don't make other quilt makers quilts. But as a quilt maker, I would absolutely love to get a quilt.
Yeah.
I bet your mother-in-law just loved it.
She did, yeah. She actually like she has like a little quilt stand where she puts certain quilts, and she put that one up there too. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's nice to snuggle in so you have your memories around, you know, so yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because my mom lives far away because she's still in Germany, so I thought for her it's even more special. So then she has like a bit of a memory from us, you know, all the time with her. Yeah. So, yeah.
So our next question is, what are you working on right now?
At the moment, I'm working on my quilting class that combines like a simple baby quilt pattern, which is this one in the back. That's actually a pattern from Kate Rodin. She's like a quilter in the US, and she designed a pattern, and we kind of teamed up on that one. So I use her pattern in my first quilting class, but we're also, like, I've designed that one out of it to make a bit of a different block in there, just to learn some more different techniques. And like basically we have the beginner's quilt where we just learn how it all works, and then I will have like a block and technique library, and that one will be turned into a quilt with different blocks. But I haven't put them together yet. They're just like the single blocks. So yeah, there will be like, and it looks tricky when you look at it, you know, like with lots of triangles and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But there is a technique out there that's so simple that actually every beginner can do it. And once you know how to make sure that you meet the seams, then it's like super easy. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And yeah, I'm excited.
So is that more like a sampler?
Yeah. Yeah, but it actually will be a lap quilt. So the other one with the different blocks, that will be like a lap quilt size. But you should be still comfortably be able to do that on your small sewing machine. You don't need a bigger machine, you know, with a wide throat space or proper quilting frame or so. Because I never had like a wide sewing machine, so I came up with like a way to actually quilt it together in a different way, like a type of a quilt as you go, but different. So yeah, just make it easy and simple. Yeah. So yeah, you will still feel it's different to how you would do your normal quilts, but it's easier that way, and it works with smaller machines. So hey,
Awesome.
that. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks very beginner friendly for me.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And because you will have like, it's like the block itself, but then you can have like other techniques and other blocks the same size, so you can actually just mix and match basically whatever you love, you know.
There you go. That looks beautiful.
Thanks.
So do you have, well, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but do you have a favorite color palette?
The bright and colorful, like anything rainbowy for some reason. That's like, I think that's the world thing at the moment anyway, like everything colorful, bright. It seems to come up more and more, and I've noticed that when I have that in the fabrics, I love it. So yeah,
I can see that from the quilts behind you too.
Yeah, exactly. So I really love them. They're just bright, vibrant, and make you happy. You know, you look at them and already the colors just make you happy. So that's always good.
Can you tell us a little bit about the wall hanging?
That one? Yep, to bring it closer.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Okay. Oops.
Oh, those are great pictures.
And I did basically, when I quilted that, I just quilted next to the sewing line, to the seam. So I thought that's something like others will be able to do as well. So yeah. And I love the, you know, the fabric that you can get to print the pictures. Like, I know you can DIY it. There's lots of videos out there. I'm not game enough to try it with my printer because I'm worried I'm going to ruin it. But yeah, if you just buy them from the quilting store, I mean, they are expensive, but then you know they work, you know. So yeah. Oops.
And you said that quilt was from your wedding pictures?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yep. In May, so not that long ago.
It's beautiful and such great memories.
Yeah, it is. And so simple. I had like one student, she actually made one as well. And she was first a bit like, oh, I don't know, quilting. She's like, well, we'll see. We do some home decor, you know. And then I introduced that to it, and we just changed it a bit to just make it easy. So we didn't actually quilt the backing to it, you know. We just had like the top and the wadding. And then we just did the birthing technique basically to attach like the backing to it. So at least she doesn't have to worry that she needs a specific foot and whatnot. So we could just go away with just a normal one. Yeah, and she was really proud of herself in the end. So especially the quilting part, she was so scared of them. It's like, don't be. It's like simple, I promise you. And yeah, so she was really happy in the end that she did it. Mm-hmm.
And for any Americans watching, wadding is another word for batting.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there in case anybody was like, wait, what'd she say?
Yeah. What's she talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a smart way to do it, especially for beginners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew those the two words because I always stumbled across them, but I didn't know that's the difference. So there you go. You never stop learning.
I wrote a quilting terms guide, so that was one of the quilting terms that came up, was that wadding kept being used, and a lot of quilters weren't sure what that meant, if it was different than batting or if it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So our next question is, do you have a favorite quilting tool?
Favorite quilting tool? I mean, there's lots of them because they all make your life easier. But the one thing I would not want to miss is like is it a 24, 25-inch ruler? Like I think 6-inch wide, 24 or 25 long. Perfect for anything. Like without that thing, it would be a nightmare to cut. So yeah, that's perfect. Obviously, you need the mat and the ruler as well, the rotary cutter. But yeah, without that ruler. So,
there are all kinds of different rulers.
That's true. That's the favorite ruler.
Yeah, that's your favorite ruler.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your favorite part of the quilting process?
Favorite part of the quilting process. I think it's the part when in the very beginning, when you pull your fabrics, you look for different one or look through your stash and you think about the techniques you can incorporate or the blocks, just a simple block, and then you think about, how can I do this? And it just, all these ideas and the colors, they just twirl around you in your head. You feel like you're just standing there and everything is just around you. And somehow time stops and then you just create, basically. Yeah. So that's the best part.
Beautiful way to describe that.
Thanks. But that's how I truly feel. Like it feels like that you just part of the whole creative process, and it's just, picking you up in a twirl and you're just in there, like within the whole dynamic of creating it. So
yeah. Thank you. That's a great answer. And the way you described it.
I get all up with that myself.
So who do you make your quilts for?
At the moment, mainly for my business, actually, to create sample quilts. But before that, mainly for friends and family. So that's why I hardly have anything to show. It's like when people ask me, did you make that? Or, is there something? Like, I don't actually have anything here. So that's why I did the wall hangings. I thought, at least there's something on my wall. And I have ideas already for a few other ones. So when I get time, I will do that. But mainly, so friends, family, and samples at the moment for my quilting class. So, yeah.
So how did you feel the first time you saw someone make one of your patterns, whether it was a student or?
It's not so much that they make the same pattern or whatever I have created or give them to do. It's more like the expression in their face in the end. So when you see the light come up, when they tried something, they thought they wouldn't be able to do that, because it's like, oh, it's so big, I can never do this. And then suddenly you see this like wow, when it just lights up and they're so proud of themselves and happy with what they created. That's the part that really is magical when you see that. Yeah.
I agree. It's really touching.
Yeah.
You're so excited for them. Like, you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's even like sometimes in class, it's like, I just like, I know cheerleader, like, you can do this, that's awesome. And, yeah. So
I really feel like that's important for adults.
Yeah.
We do that a lot with kids. We're just like, oh, you're doing great. You did it. Yay, good job. But with adults, we don't get a lot of feedback like that.
Yeah, right. And we always think, that. Like, I remember, I was a teenager, in my early 20s. No, teenager, because my mom drove me. And I remember I wanted to sew underwear. And I had no bloody idea what I'm even doing. And I went to a lady, I bought the fabric. And then she said, oh, you just adjust that. And I stood there, looked at her, thought like, how on earth do I adjust the pattern? I have no idea what I'm doing, so how do I do this? And then she noticed like, oh, okay, I'll just do it for you. And I've noticed that when you go to classes that they have the pattern, you follow along, you do exactly what they do. And sometimes they feel like, oh, you should know all this. And then it's for them, I don't want to say that maybe they didn't even notice, and they just assumed, but yeah, they didn't really put the effort into it. It's just like, it's okay. You don't know that. That's all right. I'll teach you. That's why we're here, so that you just, can venture on in your journey. So, yeah. And that's what I'm hoping with my classes, that I really include that, like, there's still things I learn. Like, I don't think you're ever going to reach the top level. There's always something you learn that's new to you, and that's cool. That's good. It's part of it. So,
I agree. There's always more to learn. I love being It was a term I learned when I was a kindergarten teacher, a lifetime learner, where they push a lot of teachers to keep learning. And I think that's really important for anyone. And like you were talking about creative process and mindset. And I think that is definitely a theme that everyone should follow, is just to be I just said it, a learner.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lifetime learner. That's
right. And I've noticed in some quilt groups, when you see the ones that just start out with the quilts, they post a photo and straight up they apologize for their wonky seams or something that didn't go right. It's like, why do you apologize, you know? So even if you would be like in the game, those things happen. It's like a handmade item. Of course, it's not always straight and perfect. If you wanted that, then you buy something machine made. But that's the beauty of it, you know? It's like a dynamic thing, like that things are not always straight and accurate. You're human, you know, and so is that creative item that you created. So,
and I bet at the end of that process they learned a lot.
Yeah, probably.
I always do. I learn something new with every project I make.
That's true. And then you think, why didn't I notice from the start?
Right.
But I guess it's always like that.
So what was a flip side of that? What was your worst quilting experience?
The worst. So, like the first quilt, the placemats I made, they were not even that bad. But I compared to the other one, I did do a baby quilt for a friend. It was a birthday gift. Probably I shouldn't have gifted it, but anyway, I was still proud of it. And I chose a pattern where I thought, yeah, that will be easy, you know, non-directional, super simple. But as soon as I started cutting and was sewing it together, it turned out that some lines in it, they were just, if you cut it a bit wrong, it looked wonky. So if you didn't hit that line, you know how you have sometimes the lines in it, you don't realize straight away when you cut it a bit offline that it looks odd. Well, that's what I did. And then the whole thing looked wonky. I was like, oh God. But I didn't have a backup plan. So I was just like, oh, well, that's it. I mean, they can just use it, throw it on the ground, you know, do with it whatever. If it just gets like dirty and whatnot, well, at least we won't care. But yeah, so that was not a very good project.
I noticed with plaid, if you're not careful with how you cut plaid, it can really, that effect can happen pretty easily.
Yeah.
And sometimes fabric isn't printed straight. So even if your lines are straight,
right,
the fabric's not printed straight. So it's still going to come out looking a little
off. Yeah, that's true. I had that with, like, you know, the panels that you can buy with the nice prints on it. So I had it like for Christmas, the advent calendar thing. And it was off. And it was like, no matter what I did, it was not much. You can hardly see it. But if you have noticed it, you will see it, obviously. Someone else probably wouldn't. But it was like, yeah, you know. But there was nothing you could do because, as you say, it was just this slightly off. So
yeah, every panel I've ever worked with has been at least a little bit off. Yeah. Every single one. One was it was like almost 2 inches difference. Oh, like, wow. It was literally like sideways. And I'm like, what am I going to do with it? I think I ended up putting a background like filler in, and I think it was black on black. It was bordered with black, so all I did was add more black, so that, and then the whole thing did look a little bit off, but with the filler of black, it helped. But yeah,
well, that's good. But 2 inches—that's a lot. Wow,
it was bad.
Yeah, sounds like
that was the worst.
But you managed it. See, there you go. Creativity, yay!
We figured it out.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, except that it was.
Yeah. But then I guess you just say, oh, it's meant to be like that.
Yeah. I did that on purpose. I think it was Halloween, too, so it's like, it's okay if it's a little funky.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So can you tell us about your favorite sewing area?
Favorite sewing area? Like, you mean like the room or so? Or what do you...
Like, a lot of people talk about like where they actually sew, or a view out their window, or cutting table maybe.
So, well, if I would have a favorite one, that's in my mind because I don't have it yet. It would be my own little studio. But we'll have like a really old house that we're renovating slowly, and I was able to get like a small little room out of that one, and I kind of put all my sewing supplies and things in there. So there I have like a cutting table and my, what are they called? Like the ultimate sewing box. So I invested in that because then I thought I can stash a whole lot in there, but I can still close it when we need the room. So yeah, that's where I sew and create in that little room. But I'm still fortunate. I mean, I don't have to do it on the dining table, so that's lovely. So you can leave like your projects out, so that's great. So I don't want to complain. Yeah.
I made my first ones after we got married. I made my first quilt right after we got married. We had a 1-bedroom apartment, so I made it on a coffee table.
Mm.
I sat on the couch, I put my machine on the coffee table, and I was like sewing like really tall and like. Yeah. And I was so thankful to have a little room all to myself, like right here. Like this is pretty much the room. There's a little bit more over here, but this is pretty much it. I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, but at least it's this little space where you don't have to move things away all the time. You can just leave it when you get interrupted. So that's a lot. It's worth a lot. Yeah. Exactly. So
I hope for every quilter to get something like this one day.
Yeah, hey? That's so true. Yeah. That's why I don't want to complain. I mean, I still have that room, you know, so yeah. But one day, maybe a proper studio, you know, that would be lovely. Right? With
maybe a workshop one day. Big room with a long arm in it would be nice.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. I've never even tried them. I'm keen, though. I'm keen to try one day.
I have a lot of fun. I rent the one at our local shop, and it's a lot of fun.
Is it? Oh, that's cool.
I like it because you don't have to move the fabric; you move the machine.
Oh,
so it's a little bit easier. In some ways, it's a little bit easier, but they're heavy, so you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't even know if we have anything in town or anyone in town who has. There is a lady who has a quilting frame, but I don't know if she rents it. But I've never asked either. Maybe I should ask.
Maybe. You know, or maybe she knows someone who knows someone who knows someone.
You never know. Yeah, that's true.
So do you have a professional tip for our quilters out there? So any tip you'd like because you are a professional? You like to share?
I would say start simple. Like, even if you think, oh, that's so simple, actually the beauty is in simplicity and like the whole journey itself, like the journey when you do create it, when you choose the fabrics, when you think about the person you create the quilt for, like all these things that make it special. So don't even get caught up that you need this big quilt as your first quilt or ever quilt. If you just do smaller ones or even with bigger pieces, that's fine. Go for it. Like, just enjoy the process and the journey itself. I think that's the main thing.
That's a beautiful tip. I was going to say sentiment, but it's a tip. Well, thank you so much. So where can we find, this is our last question, so where can we find more information about you or keep in touch with you?
Yep, you are on my website, which is www.beamazed.com.au. Or follow me on Facebook, which is beamazed07. Odd, I know, but beamazed was already gone, so I put the 07 behind it. And I thought, like, oh, you know, like the 0007, I think you called it in
007.
Like, yeah, that's it. So I thought, oh, well, there you go. That's something I can remember, so at least, you know. So, yeah, so for Facebook or Instagram, it would be beamazed07.
Okay.
Although I'm a bit quiet on Facebook and Instagram at the moment, but I'm hoping soon I'll be able to post a bit more there. Yeah.
Am I getting it right that you just moved?
Well, we actually moved a while, but it's still with the whole house renovation and everything. So it's just like, phew.
I see. Yeah, renovations can be cumbersome. Is that a good word for that?
Yeah, maybe you get like through a lot of feelings, like you love it, you hate it, you just want to leave it behind, you go somewhere else, but then you love the property and you think, no, we're actually in the right place, we need to keep going. So yeah.
I hope it turns out great.
Yeah, it will, I'm sure it will. And email, so I do have, like, you can subscribe to my email newsletter, and then every now and again you get some insights, what I'm up to, or tips and tricks. or even just like project ideas or whatnot. So yeah.
That was fun.
Mm.
Well, thank you, Susanne. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I hope you too. Well, actually, yeah, I still have, you have evenings, so yeah. That's so odd.
Yeah, right.
Oh, time difference. Oh. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.